Lorna Doone. Murder. Dartmoor. What can this possibly mean? Oh yes, it is another belated episode of Ghosts, Myths and Legends. Are we sitting comfortably? Shall we begin? Also, apologies if this looks a bit murky. I think my camera lens is a little bit grubby because the kids keep playing on my phone again. But anyway, our tale takes place on a cold, wet, misty Dartmoor day, October the 11th, 1641. The place? Chagford. Now, on this day, a young lady called Mary Whiddon was excitedly getting ready for supposedly the best, happiest day of her life. She was from a really well-known family. They were local squires of Chagford for, well, ages. There was a long line of Whiddons. They lived at Whiddon Park, which I think is now a guest house, and you can get married there and things. And so today was going to be her wedding day, and it didn't matter about the rain. She was just happy. She'd found the man she was going to marry. Everything was going to be wonderful. So she was all excited, getting ready. There are tales that she looked resplendent in her wedding gown, and that the people that were waiting around the church for her, and even like, you know, you live in a small town, you know, people, they see a wedding's on, sometimes they'll just wait around the church to see you come out. There was crowds around the wedding, and there was meant to be gasps of admiration, and she looked amazing as she daintily stepped out of the carriage to go to the church, St. Michael's of Archangel in Chagford. And as with a lot of the tales I tell you, there is always some kind of differences, there are discrepancies, there are versions, you know, that don't always, as in some people say she was wearing a white gown. That is some of the tales, that she was wearing a white dress, but I think that's just, so the part that I'm going to tell you later sounds really, you know, vivid, because from those days a lot of people didn't wear white wedding dresses. It was what any colour the bride liked, even black. There's only one person that I really know of in those sort of times in the 1600s who got married in white, and that was Mary Queen of Scots. After that, of course, Queen Victoria wore white, and then it became more popular. But I digress. So anyway, our Mary is chosen the man she's going to marry, and she's getting gasps of admiration and looking brilliant and lovely and daintily stepping out of the carriage. She goes into the church. It was a lovely ceremony. It went without a hitch. Soon the time would come and they were announced husband and wife. You know, everything is looking good and bright and rosy. But alas, as they were making that walk back down the aisle as Mr. and Mrs., they did not know that sorrow was about to befall them. You see, before Mary had chosen the love of her life, there was someone else who was sort of an admirer of hers, shall we say. Now this man was obviously a complete opposite to the man that she chose to be with. Some say that he was just an admirer, some say that they were together and she jilted him. But this was a man who was as green a man as can be, and I don't mean in an eco-friendly way or that he was a gardener. He was just, everything made him jealous and envious, and he was a bitter man. And when our Mary obviously decided that she didn't want to be with him, apparently he well, there are tales that he withdrew and became really sullen and stuff, or there are others that just he went really sulky. But he was still a dick to Mary. Apparently he hounded her and he stalked her, and he was he maligned her every which way he could. Poor Mary. Some say that he would moan about it to everyone, and at first, while he had some sympathy from the town, in the end everyone's sympathy just turned to apathy towards him because he was just being a major dick. And in a small town at the time, obviously word of Mary's engagement came to him, and instead of just thinking, oh well, that's the end of it then, you know, there's no chance, I'm never going to get back with her, he brewed on it and brewed on it and just, you know, was more of a dick than he seemed to have been before. Now, going back to the wedding, Mary was happy. They just said their vows. They were coming out of the church to go to wherever they were going for their wedding breakfast or whatever they did back then, and she was standing on the steps of the church with her husband. They were happy. People were, you know, congratulating them. And then out of the misty, silent, but happy October day morning, there was a loud bang, and a thick plume of purple smoke went out into the crowd, and everyone was sort of, what was that, what was that? And then all of a sudden a sort of silence fell after like a loud bang, until suddenly they saw that Mary had slumped to the floor. And this is where I think they said the word dress, because apparently above her heart and trickling onto her white dress, but I don't think it would have been, but was a tiny trickle of blood, a little blood stain that had started spurting from like above her heart, and she sort of slumped back, and her husband ran to her. I don't know if he was over, well, didn't they say he ran, but you know how big these steps, I don't know, unless he was greeting someone over there, and he sort of went to her and he grabbed her and he held her, bless him, and he was holding her to his breast and sort of rocking her as if he could either rock her back to life or rocking her gently into the next life with love, and that she knew she wasn't on her own. And it was, by all accounts, it sounds very sad and very tragic, poor thing. It turned out that the jilted or just maligned horrible man that had wanted Mary had not gone over it, as most people would have thought, well, yeah, that ship sailed, and he shot her, obviously. I think his name was John, but I'm not totally sure. No one seems to know in the tale what happened to him. Did he get done for it? Did he run away? Did no one find him? Did he kill himself? No one knows. So if anyone does know, please put it in the comments, but that's what I've heard so far, is no one knew what happened to him. But anyway, so our poor Mary died on what should have been the happiest day of her life because of some git that couldn't get over the fact that she loved someone else. But this, obviously, being the episode that it is, was not the end of Mary's story, and I don't know if it's because of the fact that she died on the happiest day so she couldn't have the life she wanted, or because no one seems to know what happened to him, maybe he got off with it, but her ghost is not at rest and she still roams around. She mainly, she doesn't really hang around the church where she was shot. She seems to like to be around 3 Crowns Inn, which used to be a family house at one point, and then it got turned into an inn, and her body was taken there after she was shot, so her soul could be linked for it that way. But there's also meant to be a secret passage there that leads to what would have been her family home at Woodham Park. So she likes to be there, and she likes to be seen in the bishop's room, which is upstairs in the 3 Crowns Inn, and on the upstairs corridor around there. But also she has been seen, like I said, in her family home. In 1971, a family member, it must have been like descendants, was getting married at a church, and she was staying at, obviously, at Woodham Park House, and she woke up sort of early, like you do, you're all anxious and nervous and excited, don't you, on your wedding day, and she said she saw a woman sitting on the edge of the bed, decked out in sort of wedding finery, not, you know, doing anything, just sitting there. And the woman said that after she got married, which went really well, it was a nice wedding, she put some flowers on Mary's grave as a sort of respect for the fact that she could get married and have the life that Mary didn't. And that has now become a tradition, that brides, after they get married and have said their vows, they put flowers on Mary's. She has like a plaque in the church, and people put flowers on their brides do so that their weddings aren't cursed, and obviously just for niceness for Mary so that she doesn't haunt them and they're not cursed to have a bad wedding. And I think it's just a nice respect thing on your wedding day to give the always bride, she's always going to be a bride, isn't she? Always give the bride some flowers. She's been seen looking out of windows, and what other people have said is she's in a black wedding dress. She's wearing black, which I think would be more appropriate, not because she's dead, but because, like I said, they didn't really wear white. So I don't know if it was a story told of white because of it made it more dramatic with the blood, or maybe she did, maybe she liked white, I don't know. But there are varying stories, like I said, in a white gown. Other people have said the ghost wears a black dress. So maybe you've seen her, maybe you're from there and you know that it was white, it was black, it's what, you know. And if the story does sound a little bit familiar to you, it is because the author of Lorna Doone used to spend time in Chagford, and he heard the story, and while Lorna Doone wasn't killed, she was just shot through a church window on her wedding. That is who he based that bit off and got the idea for Lorna Doone. He took the story and tweaked it a bit of our poor Mary Whidden. So there we go. If you are ever in Chagford in Devon, well, it is in Devon, it's in Dartmoor, and you're ever around the Three Crowns Inn, or you're at a wedding somewhere and you're near, you know, Whidden Park, and you see her, let me know. Or if you know about the story, or if you want to go and see if you ever see poor Mary, then, you know, it's a nice place to go and look around. On her plaque as well, there is a little inscription, which is quite sweet and also quite sad. And it says, Mary Whidden, daughter of Oliver Whidden, who died in 1641, reader wouldst know who here is laid. Behold a matron, yet a maid. Now, this could be because she was married, because she died on her wedding day, but she was still a virgin. Or it could just be that she was married, but she was young, because in Devon we call young people maids. All right, maid. A modest look, a pious heart, a Mary for the better part. But dry thine eyes, why wouldst thou weep? Such damsels do not die, but sleep. And there, that is very sweet, sad. And very sad to think that she probably planned it and imagined having children and all these nice things. And she was a really nice person as well. She was pious, because one of the only ever documented things about our Mary is a will. And I think she wrote the will before she got married because her husband wasn't in it. And she left things to her brothers, a gold ring to her mum. She left things to her godchildren, and she left gifts for the poor of Chagford and the labourers of the parish. And tell me how that's fair. Someone who actually was nice, even though they come from a line of squires and obviously had a bit of money, who was kind and gave money in her will to like the poorer people, was planning her whole life, and some git can take it all away. So no wonder so many of these ghosts that I research are roaming around and are sad, because it's so upsetting that most of them is caused by dicks. But anyway, there you have it. The story of the bride in black. A bit depressing. I do apologise. Anyway, as always, thank you for taking time out to hang out with me. I know it's been a while. Exam season was hectic. I was seemingly at work all the time doing it. So if I was busy, imagine how the poor kids felt with exams. Obviously bits of school stuff and that popping up, but I'm going to be around, hopefully doing more stuff. I don't know why I did that. What is that? I don't know. But thank you. You're always appreciated. Thank you to the other person who subscribed lately. You are amazing. If you like this video, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, join our spooky crew. Hit the ding-a-ling so you can see more of me being weird and wacky and more depressing ghost stories. Have a fabulous day. Don't forget to take 5 minutes out just to breathe, send to yourself, look out the window, have a drink, something to eat, whatever you want to do. Read, watch more YouTube videos. Anything that makes you feel good and gives you a few minutes peace. because we need a little bit of self-love every day. Goodbye. You're amazing. Please do pop along to these places if you're not from there. Tell me how you like it. And as always, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.